Dr. Emmanuel Masenga. I work for Tanzania Wildlife Research Institute. I'm also a director of Serengeti Wildlife Research Center. My specialization is in wild dog research, studying wild dog ecology, wild dog movement behavior, and the threat pertaining to the wild dog in the Serengeti ecosystem. In fact, wild dogs are important species in conservation for the Serengeti ecosystem. Formerly, wild dog has been existed in Serengeti since 1960s, and the wild dog population has never been stable since 1960s to 1990. The main factor why the population of wild dog has never been stable in the Serengeti ecosystem were diseases and the competition with other large carnivores such as lion and hyena, especially spotted hyena. So since 1990s, wild dog has been disappeared in the Serengeti National Park. And in 1992, they went locally extinct. And there were no any wild dog sighting from 1992 to 2000. Started working on wild dog in the year 2005. And probably I started thinking why some sporadic wild dog parks appeared outside the Serengeti National Park, especially in Loliondo Game Controlled Area, which is the eastern part of the park, and south of the park within the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. I remember when I started the project, there were only 3 parks with a total of 26 individual wild dogs located in different places of the eastern part of the park, especially in Ololosokwan village, which is the northern part of the Loliondo Game Controlled Area, to the south within the Samunge village, and a bit to the central part of the Loliondo Game Controlled Area, which is Arash village and the Piaya village. Since I started working the wild dog in the community land, I found that wild dogs suffer a lot, not only with the diseases and the competition, but also they suffer retaliatory killing by local community through poisoning and burning of their den site. This is happened because of the wild dog attack on the livestock. In fact, we found that the community lost about 384 goat and sheep every year due to wild dog attack. And this causes a lot of problem to the dogs. The same community, they normally kill on average of 14 dogs every year. So in the year 2010, community blamed that wild dog became vermin to their land, especially in the Loliondo Game Controlled Area. So we started the reintroduction effort of African wild dog to the national park in the year 2011. We reintroduced the first park with 11 individual wild dogs, and this park has been introduced to the western edge of the park, the one place called the Nyamuma area. After introducing the first park, we monitor the park inside the Serengeti National Park, and thereafter, subsequent release has been followed, and up to the year 2020, we released about 8 parks. Total individual that has been released about 100. And during those days, we monitor these parks by using GPS satellite collars. The movement pattern for the wild dogs showed that wild dogs use 3 different protected areas in the Serengeti ecosystem after release. Some of the park, they have been settled inside the Serengeti. 3 parks have been settled inside the Serengeti National Park. 2 parks has been settled in Maswa Game Reserve, and the other parks became transient. They moved through Loliondo back to the Serengeti National Park, and then Ngorongoro back to Serengeti National Park. So still, Serengeti woodland is potential for wild dog conservation, as most of the dogs, the released dogs, they like woodland habitat and hills as compared to short grassland plain. However, most of the tourists, they enjoy to see the wild dogs in areas where there are higher tourist potential, like Serengeti National Park and Ngorongoro Conservation Area. Through this project, we make a use of the wild dog information to boost tourism activities within the Serengeti National Park and their surrounding protected areas. Currently, we understand that wild dogs, they move between ecosystems. Some of the parks, they move all the way to Kenya and back to Tanzania. And we have discovered the longest distance moved by the wild dog in Africa. So also we did a very good experiment of capturing wild dog within a human-dominated landscape and bring them inside the park. At this experiment, they give us a very good information on how to protect wild dogs that are suffering human-wild dog conflict. And through the project also, we have been able to learn how to educate the community within the community land on the best approach to head their livestock and reduce retaliatory killing to the wild dogs through conducting community sensitization education. So conservation of wild dogs in Serengeti is of great importance because they occur within the community land and they occur within the totally protected areas such as national parks. And for this case, community normally benefit from the wild dog through tourism activity. Once wildebeest migration, they are found within their area, especially on the Piaya Plain, Arash Plain, and sometimes to the north of the park within the Ololosokwani village. So, without community, conservation of wild dog in Serengeti ecosystem is very challenging because we have resident parks that occur within the community area and we have reintroduced parks that occur within the totally protected area. So for this case, we are currently monitoring about 220 wild dogs, individual wild dogs, and they occur within 14 parks. For this case, this is a great effort in conserving the species and a great effort for conservation of the protected areas, as wild dogs provide essential unity in the ecological monitoring of the ecological processes in the Serengeti ecosystem.